professional to start your business? Like, why didn't you wait until like after you retired?
I was talking to him and he mentioned like, no, like if you want to put the closing and stuff, like you need to push it now while you're playing, because people see you, you make more connections. Like once you're suddenly there and you don't play anymore, now you have to force the connection.
What's up? What's up? This is Dominique Wilson, the host for Still an Athlete, the podcast where former athletes learn how to pivot outside of their sport. Today, we have Sarah, my vegan twin. We
Yay.
played, yeah, we just played on TTT Riga, a league out here in Latvia, and she was the only other vegan, me and her, and she's a great person and she is an entrepreneur. So we have her today to speak about that, how to be a professional athlete and juggle businesses. So Sarah, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm very excited about this process that you're doing, like how you're growing your own business as well. So thanks for having
Thanks.
me. Very excited.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's no easy feat because you already know like after you work out or whatever you want to just go to sleep, but money has to be made outside of sports. So that's why I definitely want to talk to you about that. And well, let's start with your origin. Like, when did you fall in love with basketball, or was that like your first sport? What's your story?
No, I was doing all kind of sports, and I'm from Austria, from the countryside of Austria, and I was lucky that my sister started playing basketball in this club. Yeah, one of the few sports that existed here. There weren't that many, like in the city, and I started doing it too, and I fell in love right away. And then when I was 12, I told my parents, I was like, I would play professional basketball. So not only played like for a year, and they were like, she's crazy. No. So yeah, then I started, and it was pretty clear Austria is like in the process of growing basketball. So for women now it's possible to do it full time. Back then it was a little harder. There was only like one club, and they usually bought a lot of foreigners. And for me, it was pretty clear that I had to go to a different country very early to be able to do this job. And so yeah, I left at 16 to go to the US. Oh my gosh, my voice! I'm sorry.
You're good. That's
I try.
natural.
I try. I'm still a little. I got sick again this week. I'm like, nah. This is
You
like
did?
I did.
Oh
It's like
no.
when you go to a different country and there are a lot of like diseases you're not used to again, and then your body is just like getting sick like this, and yeah. But anyways, so I went to 16 to USA, and I was very lucky. I had great host families. First I was in Ohio, and then I was in Florida. Went to like three different high schools and got a full scholarship to Stetson, and there I played 5 years and got my master's in business as well as bachelor. And then I tore my ACL, unfortunately, and
Mm.
right at the end of college, where it was pretty clear, oh, I'm about to go play professional basketball. So suddenly I was like there, like with no income. I had to figure out how to recover, how to do my physio, get back in shape, and everything. And it was a lot. And then I was like, wow, like I need to figure some stuff out. At the same
Yeah.
time, my dad lost his job too, so it was like, oh wow. So our family had like I had nobody to be like, hey, can you borrow me some money, like something like this. It was kind of like, let's figure this out. And yeah, it took me like a whole year to finally get back from my ACL as usually, and then I signed my first contract to go to Brazil, and then Corona happened, and then I had to wait another 6 months until I finally got to start my professional career. So I had to like I had to find some ways, and it wasn't like there are not many jobs that are gonna be like, yeah, I take you and you can work here, and then you leave whenever you're ready. I mean, people tend to lie about this at their jobs and stuff, but I don't know, I'm not such a good liar. So I was like straight up. I was like, yeah, when I'm healthy and I get a contract, I'm out. And people were like, yeah, I'm not taking you.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that because when I got into the professional world, and like the first contract is not so good. Like you're not making a lot of money. So when I went back home over the summer, I would like get jobs. I would do the same thing that you did, but I was a pretty good liar. I was like, yeah, I see myself being in this company for like a decade and really growing up the ladder. Like had it had it nailed down, and then summer was there for a year. Well, not a year, couple of months, October comes around, November usually when we fly out, and I'm like, yeah, I found another job. Bye. I didn't even tell him it was basketball. I was just like, bye, because don't want to burn any bridges. But that's crazy. I didn't know that you tore your ACL. So how was that pivot of being an athlete, of course, but tearing your ACL and then trying to, like you said, recover and then get back into regular shape because your movement will never be the same, but still you can get close enough where you can go out and compete at a high level. How was that recovery? Because people don't know physical therapy is rehab is harder than trying to get in shape. It's so hard.
It is hard. I mean, you're going through it right now too. I mean,
Yes, but these are different though.
we're
Like wrist, I can still like when I broke my wrist, I still went to the gym and I can like work out on a treadmill and bike. But with your knee, if you don't have that movement, all you can do is like upper body work, and it's hard to like
no,
try
it
to
is.
stay in shape.
It is.
Yeah.
And I didn't think the injury itself was that hard to recover. The ACL was like the ACL. Like I was like, I'm good, but it's more like
Mhm.
what led you to that injury. Like
Mm,
for me, it was like my other knee was hurting, and I never really found out why. And
mhm.
there was kind of like cause why I was more on my left leg, and so it was like then when I got back, my left leg was fine, but my right leg kept bothering me, my right knee, and it was just
Yeah.
some fracture and stuff like in stick together and having to strengthen some muscles, but that's more the exhausting part. Just being like a detective, trying to be like talking to different people. Why is this hurting? What is this? Like my knee's fine. Why do I keep avoiding this knee and stuff? Yeah, but yeah, no recovery sucks.
Yes, it does. I don't wish it on nobody.
No,
So
and
did you always? Mhm.
no, go ahead. And you want to play like so bad, and it's just like you have to wait, and it's like the patience. I don't have patience. So it's like
Yeah, trust me. And you just like on a bench, you're watching your team play, and you just want to get out there. Yeah, it sucks terribly. But did you always see yourself being or playing professionally? I know you say you fell in love with basketball and you're super tall, but was that your dream to play in a professional league?
yeah. At 12, I told my parents I was like I play professional abroad. That's
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that that was like kind of like what I just followed around, and yeah, it was. I mean, else I wouldn't if I wouldn't have had that in front of my head. Like I wouldn't have had it in my head. I would have not pushed through all the challenges at all. Like especially like I didn't even speak English when I went to USA. Like I was failing English class. And the only reason he passed me was because he was like, "You're about to learn the language because you're going to the USA." And I was like, so like me, the culture shock, everything. I was like, "This is horrible." And then college is again on another level. And then it's like you're 402, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. Trying to learn English while you're in
No,
college.
I mean
That's
I learned it in high school, but like it still didn't like go.
old
Yeah,
school. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah.
Oh gosh. Well, you're good now. You speak fluent now, so you're
Still
past
have
that.
still have my accent, but I
Right.
never lose that.
You're not. You're never gonna lose that, but
No.
we can understand you, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So like during your professional career, when did you decide like, okay, I want to start creating my like camps, like your other businesses, your athletic socks, and I believe you have like training as well, right?
Hmm.
At your other business.
Yeah.
When did you decide to? What came first, by the way, and then like what made you decide just to be like, oh, while I'm still playing as an athlete, I should pivot into being an entrepreneur.
I mean, entrepreneurship was very interesting to me in college already. Like my bachelor was a minor in entrepreneurship, and so I
Hmm.
couldn't major in it. Stetson University didn't offer it at that point, and so I just focused all my classes on that. I'm just fascinated by creating new stuff, concepts, and everything, and it's really fun for me. And yeah, I mean, I started with I wanted to do the closing, but then with the ACL and everything, with closing, you need to have a little bit of money to be able to test and everything what's working. And that was like when I started it, it was like right when I tore my ACL. So that was like okay, let's put that on hold. And then I was lucky enough. My grandma she gave us her house, and it's a very old house though, so it was a lot to do. So like that's kind of where I was like, let's figure this out how to make money out of the house and I'm very
Yeah.
grateful for the house. But there was also kind of a liability because it needs new heating, it needs new insulation, it needs the garden was like a whole forest, and it was a lot. And so I kind of moved into that house too. It was like there was mold and everything too, and we just like started fixing it up and just renting it out. And that was kind of like when I was like, okay, let's. That was my first kind of thing. Like everybody in my family was like, no, we're not gonna rent the rooms out. Like we're gonna like, yeah, it's not gonna happen. It's a family home and stuff. And I was like, what you gonna do with it? Like it's just gonna stand around? Like no. And
Mhm.
that's how we started. And then after a while, then when I started playing again, then I played in Poland and I made a really good friend. And she helped me kind of. She was like, oh, like there's like a socks manufacturer over there and they're really good and
Yeah.
they make for all kind of people in Europe and stuff. And I was like, oh, and I just annoyed the heck out of them and they didn't speak English and we just kind of figured it out. It was right in town there, and that's how it started with the socks. And yeah, so I made my first mistakes with socks. I had to figure all this stuff out. Now it's going really, really well. I added like personalization, so
Yeah.
you can put like names and logos and everything on it in all kind of ways. And I do like a lot of cooperations with different events, and it's really fun and it goes really well. And then the camp, it was more like me thinking if I would be younger, like what would I have liked? And you could tell they have a lot of
Mm.
mixed basketball camps. They don't have really. They sometimes they had like only girls basketball camps, but not as many. And I was like, let me help and try to push that as well. It's just a lot of girls. They just intimidated. Like I mean, I was one of the few people. I didn't care. I was like, I go up against the guys, but I wanted to have that option as well. And yeah, so we added that. I mean, there are a few camps here, but yeah, I'm glad we added another one and another timetable for the girls to go. And then the training, it's just, yeah, like a lot of girls like me, I was from the countryside and people, they don't really have access to as many trainers and stuff. And the coaches do a great job. And it's always great to add to, well,
Mhm.
too, of course. Might be weight training, might be skills training. So I do their different stuff as well.
Mhm.
So
Nice. But like, no, you're good. Like, I love it. You always have something going on. Like, I remember we'll be in the locker room. You're like, I don't like how these socks designs look, and I'm like, Sarah, we're about to play a game. And you're worried about your business, which I love. You're always on it. It's just like, why did you decide now? Like, why you're still being an active professional? What was so important for you to
I
now?
was
Hmm.
talking to one of my mentors, and he does a lot of business stuff, and I met him throughout the way because I was like when I was injured like 2 years ago with another injury 3 years ago. Um, I was talking to him. We were talking about me going into finance, financial advising, and whatever, just figuring out what else I can do after basketball. And now you have to like keep going to the people and they'll be like, okay, like because you don't have anything. But it's like, no, I play basketball and I can do it. Like I don't have to do a deal with you. I make money from basketball. So this way is also not as forced and it's like more free. And it's like, oh, if it happens, happens. And they will like and people know you from basketball. And it's the right like you have to start building it during the career. If you just after a career and you have like way there and you have nothing, it's like
Right.
now what? I feel like that's a lot. That's a very stressful.
Yeah, yeah. I should have been talking to you 2 years ago. I decided to think when I retired, and I was like, I'm stressed because, like you said, you make money from basketball, but like when you retire, you have all your money that you stack, and then that's what you're getting that money from to fund your business, and then you're realizing like, oh wait, I don't have more income coming in because your business is growing. It's not bringing as much income as it did from basketball. So it's like I learned the hard way. So smart choice, and I would say, I guess that's what athletes that are playing now should do. Like you said, find a mentor or start creating those networks and creating those businesses that you not business but yeah business, and then use the network that you create when you're playing basketball right now, because once you're done, the network will fade away. So that would be, I would say that would be a top benefit that you would suggest, right, to other athletes.
Absolutely, especially because when you start a new business, like there are statistics, and if you go break even in 2 years, that's a success. So that means 2 years of negative, like being negative in your business, and that's tough. That's tough if you don't have other income streams. I
Yes.
mean, you Dom, you still have you if you want to, you still have some years in you. You can still play a few
No, I
years.
appreciate like my agent asked me now, he's like, okay, so where do you want to go? And then in my head, I'm like, I know I want to retire again, but it's just like I learned from my lessons. So, well, we're figuring it out. We're one day at a time, one day at a time. So
So
I know you're sick.
you're open for it. Huh? You're
I'm,
open for it,
I'm,
huh?
oh, I am open for it. I don't want to do it. I am so done with basketball. That's why, created this, created my other businesses. But I'm real big on creating things out of intention, out of purpose. Like this podcast is just to create a community to help other athletes so they don't go through what I went through or other athletes that went down a dark path as well. They can learn from it, try to stay away from it. But and I'm happy. No, you're good. I was just like, that's why I'm happy you're on here, so you can set us straight, set the people that are listening straight. They can take the right path. What Sarah just said was so smart, so important. If you don't have a mentor, definitely find a one. Where did you find your mentor at?
Honestly, I just went to like I was talking to different people, and there's like an organization here to kind of like help
Hmm.
athletes with the career afterwards. And I was talking to some people, and it was not such a good fit. And then one guy was like, "Cool," and he helped me a lot, so it was very nice. But yeah, I love. I just want to say I love that you want to help others to not do the same mistakes. That is a big. That's very important and very very big. No, really.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, thank you. I just, like you said, when you created your business, like your camp, what would I want to have if I went to camp when I was younger? Like you said, for me, I just thought about like what did I wish I had access to, like a mentor or what to listen to, because I'm listening to podcasts heavy before I made, my mistakes. And I was like, oh, I wish there was a podcast with somebody that was in the shoes that I'm in right now and they were talking about. So I was like, okay, might as well make a podcast and put all my amazing networks that I know on here. But I know you're sick. We're gonna get you out of here. So we're going to my favorite part. 3 questions that people usually love. One is intentional, and then the other two are like funny. Go lucky, doesn't matter how you answer. So first one, if you could sit across from your younger self, what would you say to her
Mm.
and why?
That's a very good
Yeah.
point. Um, whew, I was not prepared for that question. Let me see.
Most people are.
Mm. Du. I don't know. I feel like I'm very hard headed, and if I think about myself back in the days, I would not listen to me probably. I would just do what I want to do. So I feel like the advice wouldn't even be helpful because it's like I would be like, no, I do it my way. I have to work hard. And I had to learn everything, a lot of stuff the hard way because I just didn't want to listen to people. That sounds really bad. But, probably just like, I mean,
So I guess I would say, I guess you would go back in time and tell yourself, just keep doing what you're doing. Don't listen to
no,
nobody. You'll figure it
no.
out.
I would tell. I don't know. I mean, you can imagine, like, especially then, like, I had a lot of, like, people helping me when I was, like, from 12 to 16 in Austria. And then at 16, I went to USA. And people helped me too. But it's like, you're in a whole different country, new culture. You don't know who to listen to. And it's kind of like, do you have the best intentions for me
Mhm.
or no? Like, just a lot of strangers at 16 and you don't know what to do. Um, so that's just me having to learn through the process. And I feel like I tried my best. And I'm not saying I was perfect. I was not perfect at all. And I think I would do it the same way I did it because it gave me every lesson, gave me a lot of, I learned a lot from it. And otherwise, I would not have learned it. I would have run into that lesson later on. So that's
Yeah.
just, yeah, I would say that. So good question, though. Question.
Yeah.
What would you
Good
say?
one.
What
Yeah.
did you say with
Thank
that?
you. Oh, nobody ever asked me back. To my younger self, I would tell her to never change, that the way you are now is who you're meant to be, and don't let anyone make you feel guilty of being who you are and make you feel like you need to dim your light, because that's something, that's an insecurity, is something they're going through within themselves, and it has nothing to do with you, and you can't change anyone's
I love
perception
that.
of you. So I would tell her,
I love that.
thank you.
That's great. That's very great. And I feel
Hey, thanks for asking back.
no,
Nobody
I feel
asked that
but like
back
what
to
you
me.
said, I
Thank
feel
you.
a lot of girls and or young women need to hear that what you said. I feel like that's a lesson that a lot of people like something they would yeah they need to hear that. Absolutely.
Back. Thank you. All right, now to a fun question. If you could be any athlete for a day, 24 hours, Sarah, who would it be and why?
Hmm. I would say probably back in the days when Candice Parker was still playing, I would have loved to just see how she, yeah, just how she goes throughout her day and how she takes care of business. I mean, she's a businesswoman too, and she is, and she was a great athlete throughout her whole career, and I would love to
Mhm.
just learn from her and what she, what's going on through her head. Yeah.
That is a good answer. Wow. I never thought about Candace Parker. Wow. A lot of people say, the usual, like LeBron because he's a freak athlete, but Candace Parker for sure. Like you said, just going throughout her day, just being an elite athlete from such a young age. And then for me, it would be, just to be that height. That would be nice to
Could
experience.
imagine.
Yeah, love that. All right, last one. If aliens landed tomorrow and said, "Take us to your leader," who would you decide for a human being? It could be anyone to represent Earth, and who would you take them to and
How did you
why?
come up with this question?
Girl, my brain, what goes on through my head every day, you'll be
I
shocked.
love
That's all I'm gonna
I love
say.
it though. I love it.
I was just thinking, like, what are fun?
I
Thank
love
you, thank
I
you.
would say
Who are you picking,
well, I
Sarah?
would pick my dad, honestly. My
Who?
dad.
Oh,
But like I would
nice.
want him to be gone during
Mhm.
the time. So maybe not. Like, how long would the aliens take him?
Oh no, but they're only taking him for a day. Don't bring him
Oh,
back.
okay, okay, okay. Well, that's fine. That's okay.
So,
I think my dad, just he's like very nice person. And I feel like when a lot of people would live based on his values, I feel like the world would be a very nice place. No, he's very, very he's too nice almost, too caring. I sometimes have to tell him like, no, like this person
mhm,
does not have good intentions to you. Like we're not gonna help this person at this point. But
yeah,
no, really one of the nicest people I
yeah,
know on earth. Like and very hardworking and very like he works a lot and he did his best throughout his life and I feel like tried his best raising me and my sister and no he's a great person and
mhm,
I'm really happy the values he put in me as well.
yeah. Oh, I love that. So when I see your dad, I'm gonna tell him that you offered him up to aliens for 24 hours a day, but he'll love it. I love, I love that answer though. Well, thank you, Sarah. That is time, girl. Go take some vitamin
Oh
C,
gosh.
go drink some hot tea, get under some covers, rest, feel feel better, my vegan twin. Thank you so much for your time and for just dropping gems. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Dom. Thanks for having me. So cool what you're doing for real.
Thank you. All right, Sarah. I'll talk to you soon.
Alrighty. Good luck with all your other people you're
All right.
interviewing. The time is so
Okay.
far.
Bye, girl.
The timing is so late every time, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I don't know what's going on, but
Okay.
it's fine. I'll
Okay,
fix
okay.
it. All right,
Alrighty.
girl.
Bye.
Bye. Sarah's story is such an important reminder. Your athletic career may have an expiration date, but your purpose doesn't. So starting something while you're still playing, building a foundation, building those networks, creating security, planting the seeds of your next chapter, that's not just smart, it's necessary. And if this conversation gave you something to think about, share it with a teammate, a coach, or anyone in your circle who's still figuring out what comes next. And don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to Still an Athlete. Your support helps these stories reach more people who need them. Also follow us at still.an-athlete on Instagram, and follow Sarah as well to see how she's building beyond the game, and check out her fancy socks. They're pretty cute, I might say. Until next time, keep growing, keep building, and remember, you're still an athlete.